I can complain. I've done all the complaining I could. Nothing. Well, not complaining. I did all the talking I could, and it's like to no avail. That new CEO probably isn't out to get me, but it's just like one of those things. Like, funny that all this stuff started happening after she showed up, but I didn't know she existed until this month. Well,
Right.
wait, no, last month, because the old CEO left, and CEOs have been coming in and out of that position for a while. There's this one guy who I actually kind of liked, but he had all these plans, and it just only I think a month in he quit, and I think it was actually during when COVID was getting really bad when he showed up, and he had all these plans ready for to go, but I knew he was gonna leave because like this company I don't think wants to get bigger because he had all these plans that seemed to was gonna bring them in money and I guess make them bigger, but I didn't say this to this guy, but in my mind I was like, I hope you can make what you want to do because this sounds freaking cool. Giving us shares so when we retire we get like a huge chunk of money. Like that was awesome from the way he was talking. Like he actually had some serious good plans.
Yeah.
He sounded very employee centric, and then he left. And I was like, well, that there goes that. I think he was the last guy I actually heard, last CEO that I actually heard in that company, and then it was quiet for a while, and then I hear about this lady. I'm like, I saw her name in a couple of emails, but I never knew who she was.
Yeah. It sounds like a really good. You can always tell a good CEO when nobody has any idea what they're doing and they're supposed to be the leader of the company.
I'm down here, like they're up in Baltimore. I live in Clinton.
Yeah, but I mean, I don't know. Like CEOs can do newsletters, internal newsletters, and stuff like that, and keep in touch with people. But if your CEO has no idea,
Oh well, she knows
uh,
what she's doing. She's looking at the numbers, and apparently, me being a full time employee was having the company lose money.
mm-hmm,
So I don't know. It's like when that happens, when you hear that, it's like you're losing money. I was like,
mm-hmm,
okay, whatever. Even if you do bring me on a full time, I still don't trust you because like if you can flip a switch that easy, then why should I trust you at this point? So I was like, I'm hanging out with him for the time being. I'm pretty sure some people know something's up. I was like, yeah, you're gonna. Not that I'm a crucial employee, but I'm the last of the old people that you hired. The other three left. One left because of some internal dispute. Another one just suddenly stopped responding to work emails, and she was just like, I guess, let go.
mm-hmm.
The third one, I had nothing happen. She like there's two people at the time who had the same first name, and I guess I don't know what happened there. She called me asking what was going on. I was like, I don't know. Like maybe they got you confused with somebody else.
Yeah,
I don't think she cared that much anyway, because she had another job that was paying her way more. She was just trying to be nice and helping them out at night.
that's the worst part. They really don't care.
I don't think she cares either, because I haven't heard from her in a while. She also been trying to help me, I guess, get a job someplace else too, but I haven't heard from her in a while. So it's like,
Mm.
she's a nice lady. I mean, I don't have any ill intent. I don't really have any ill intent towards this company. It's just that,
Veritable. Sounds
but
like a veritable saint among men. Just incredible person. You know.
well, I mean, the person that's trying to help me right now, him who I'm in constant contact with her right now, he's a saint. But I mean, like, she's not bad either. She's got her own thing. She got two children trying to go to college. Like, I don't have any of that. So I was like, yeah, you probably are more involved in that than trying to help me too much. So every now and then I hear from her, and she's like been looking. And I was like, yeah, I guess she's still looking. It's just that she doesn't have anything to show me or tell me to do.
Mm-hmm.
Cause like I can't fault her for that. This company though, I can fault them for everything.
Yeah, I don't blame you. I remember there's a guy named Jess James. I know it's a weird name, but it's true. Do you know Apache, the computer programming language Apache?
Yes and no. I feel like I should know this. I might have. I just don't remember.
It's what a lot of servers, Microsoft-based servers, are written on. Like if you have WordPress, it's on an Apache server. Um, anyway, the creator of Apache. I want to say inventor, but it's more like creator. The creator of Apache did a speaking keynote speaker at a conference I went to, and he was talking about compassion. Like his whole thing was about compassion, and when you're designing things for people, like because it was user experience was the focus of the conference, and he was talking about companies, and he was talking about how they have that lawsuit now, where they companies are suing to be treated as if they're people. Have you heard about this?
No, this is the first I've heard of this.
Well, it's a big thing like that was going on for a while. It's pretty accepted now, but companies count as people now. Like um, for legal purposes, they're people. Like they have rights, like a person does in a lot of ways, in terms of like freedom of speech and things like that. And he was talking about it, and he goes, so recently, like they companies got the sued for the right to be treated like people, and he goes, but companies aren't people. He goes, they're monsters made of people. And that always stuck with me, like the idea that companies were monsters made of people, because it sounds like a monster movie, like Frankenstein or something like that. But it is true. Like companies are very much like monsters made out of people. They fight for their own survival at the expense of human beings. You know what I mean? They're made out of people, but they don't. The company itself doesn't care about the individual people that it's part of, as long as the company as a whole survives. And it can take those people and mix and match them as it sees fit, or get rid of them. You know what I mean? So it's really more like a monster made out of people than a person. You know.
I don't think all companies are like that. I just like few that apparently. Honestly, I mean, yeah, you can pick and choose with each company, and like they have their own things. Like I'm not sitting there defending anything from a company trying to get save themselves by ruining a person or whatever, or not even ruining them, just like affecting them in their livelihood.
One thing the companies are not is considerate. You know, very very few. I mean, it's possible to have a company that's considerate, but I think the bigger they get, the more they incline towards not being a very considerate organization. So, but the idea, I mean, and monsters don't necessarily have to be evil. You know what I mean? Like Godzilla is not necessarily evil. The Hulk isn't necessarily evil, but they're both probably something you could consider a monster. But I just like the idea that or like in Piccolo was watching Goku and Frieza fight. He said they're monsters, one good, one evil.
No,
So.
I get all that. I just like I guess for me, I'm not trying to demonize too many things at the same time. They have their reasons. Not, and not sitting here saying that I agree with any of it. I'm just saying that I've already tried as much as I could to. I think I've talked myself blue in the face, to no avail. I mean, the human resources guy seems to understand. I'm air quoting here, by the way, but seems to understand. He says that most people see human resources at our companies not caring about people, but he sees himself as a resource. It seems like he wants to help. You know, he asked for my resume, so I gave it to him, but I
But he
haven't heard.
realized that the
I,
job of a human resources person is to see
yeah,
what you
I
want.
know. I'm aware. I'm
Mm-hmm.
aware. I am fully aware of what was happening there. He was trying to smooth things over because he knows I'm upset. I get that, but like, you don't you don't ask somebody for the resume if you're not at least gonna look, not successfully find anything, but at least look.
Mm-hmm.
I never had a human resources like do that. The one before him threatened to fire me when I couldn't make a. And that was when I was working at Target in this job. Literally threatened to fire me because I couldn't come in one of those days. Which, funnily enough, all the way up to that point, I was coming in every day that they asked me to. No
Mm-hmm.
complaints. When one day I said I couldn't do something, they threatened to fire me. That was excessive, in my opinion. It seems ridiculous to me that I was a good employee as far as I knew,
Mm-hmm.
and nobody told me that I was doing anything wrong. If there was something wrong going on, they at least should let me know so I can try to fix it. But whatever. I mean, and that was the only person in that entire Target company corporation I was working with that actually gave me that kind of attitude. Like the other people around me, even my even like the head honcho of of the of what the section of the store I worked for, he was fairly understanding and fairly considerate. He joked around, but he made sure work got done, stuff like that. He never did anything without asking you first.
Yeah.
So I respected him. I guess it's for when it comes to like you earning respect. Also, I need to figure out. Like, I guess before I actually we start with this podcast, I got to figure out somehow. I don't know how this is happening, but somehow I guess anytime I say something negative of the company, apparently it's getting up to them. But I'm not speaking to myself sometimes when I'm complaining. So it's kind of weird because like I'm getting it's getting really weird that I'm hearing all these negative things about this company, this or that. I'm like, I never outwardly stated anything negative in the past year towards anybody I worked with that would have somehow gotten to the company. One or two things I may have said to somebody,
Is it
but
online?
hmm?
Is it coming up online?
No, I'm not typing anything out loud online at all. I don't know how they shouldn't be able to connect anything I've done online to me because I go out of my way to make sure that my name isn't exactly something that can be searched and everything will come up. Because I don't put my name in any of these other things that you can type on Google and search it up.
That's weird and potentially kind of an invasion of privacy.
I don't know. I mean, I've said some things to some people, and that's probably how it's gotten up there. But so many
It's
other
weird
things,
if every single thing would get to them, though, you know? If you're like mostly keeping your mouth shut.
it's probably half and half. But like, I'm not saying anything to anybody that like. I said like I don't know. Like I said some things about like this company don't care or whatever like that, and I don't know how that's gotten up to them because granted, I mean I'm one of the only two employees, maybe three that even live down here. The other people actually live near Baltimore, which the company is based. So maybe they're just saying maybe they're saying stuff offhand and it's they're taking it seriously because I've said some things that I don't mean to be mean necessarily take it seriously. I'm just kind of venting. So it's like
Mm-hmm.
it's like that shouldn't be too much of a concern. They don't seem that concerned because if that was the case, they would have fired me at this point for it. But I mean, now I'm just like, after he said that to me recently, I was like, okay, I'm probably just gonna, if I'm gonna vent, I'm gonna vent to myself. Make sure that nobody's around me. Make sure there's no microphones anywhere nearby, and I can just do it. But I've been fair. That's what I said. I've been trying to, calm myself and just go with the flow. I'll eventually be rid of this company at some point.
Mm-hmm.
Well, not rid, moved on from this company at some point. I know I was gonna
Well,
move on from it anyway, but it just seemed kind of sudden. That it looks like that moving on is happening a lot faster than I thought I would have had to. I was
yeah.
hoping for 5 years, not three. But oh well. And I guess with that and all of that being, all of that dirty luggage being hauled out on the internet, welcome to the next episode of the Anime4ALL podcast. Uh,
Hi, guys!
that is my co-host Jacque. We are here to talk about episodes 29 to 30. I guess we're gonna move on to it right now. Actually,
Episodes 29 and 30.
are you deaf?
What?
Apparently he's deaf now.
Huh?
Okay, let me just go to the RSS online. Go to my RSS feed real quick. Sign in, please. Anything analytical going on I need to? Nope, we had a upwards of 13% in views. I mean, downloads, so that's good. And it's the
Cool.
first positive I've actually seen. But nothing else has changed. Oh, I guess they're now tracking Amazon Music podcast. Apparently, okay. That was not an analytic I was actually aware of. Oh, we got some downloads on an iOS and Mac computer. Huh.
Cool.
You have to get closer to like the Christmas season. I'm expecting us to really tank. Granted, we're already kind of tanking as it is. Yay!
Everybody's Everything switches up for Christmas, though.
Yeah, I'm aware. Okay, whoa, that is not what I want you to do. Do not full screen. Okay, with that, we're gonna talk about the first episode of two. I guess we're gonna talk about this is in a casual sense. Probably won't be live for too long with that, but we'll do our best to keep you all as entertained. And with that, let's move on to episode 29. I think it's called Emeth. Would you have it here?
Yeah.
It's called Emmet. Get that, eh? Emmet and you with the small little plot you have here is Anna takes Recep and his sisters away from Hanagumi while Tamo and June keep fighting them. Mikasa interrupts the battle and goes to back his team. The first note you have here is I don't always watch the okay. So you actually did watch the opening. Okay.
Yeah, I don't usually watch the opening. I do sometimes, but it seemed like it was pretty normal. But I noticed in this opening that there was like an
I think
opening
you,
screen where it's like I've been introduced to a lot of the characters finally, but I was like, there's this one
I think
scene where they show everybody I recognize, and then there's a princess character, and the princess character takes up half the screen. I don't know who she is.
you remember that team from the tournament that I think they talked about who was like who was like a favorite along with the X Laws and the and House team. I forgot the name of the team. I think that's where she's from. We haven't
Oh, is it?
seen
Why she takes up half
we
the
haven't
screen?
seen her. She's probably important for something. Then I mean I don't really know. I can only think she's important for something. Either she's gonna show up dead when we do get back
Yeah.
to the
It's
to
funny
with the
though
fight.
because every other character is on the same team except for her, and she's the other half.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure
So like,
she's that team because like I mean the X Laws and it seems like X Laws and Yo and everybody are teamed up, but her. Um,
yeah,
so it seems like to me she's got to be the other team that we haven't seen, which is kind of funny because they bring up the fact that they're really powerful. They have that team has a lot of like I think God class spirits, but
okay.
we haven't seen them. That's what I remember about that one team that we haven't seen. I think that might be her. I don't know. I'm assuming. That's what I'm assuming. Uh, at 350, you bring up the fact that Lower Soul Jack the Ripper. I find it funny that they use Jack the Ripper because I feel like he was supposed to be.
Can I show you a screenshot of what I'm talking about before we move on? Let me. It's at. I'll tell you in a second. Let me. I'm gonna drop a screenshot in Discord for you of this because I just was able to call it up just in time. Um, it's at 3:41 in the episode, and if you look, every other character there is on um on Yo's team. Every single other one is a friend or ally of him, or their spirit. But then she's in the background, huge, and they don't really explain it at all. And I'm just really curious, like
Well,
what?
this is an intro. They're not going to explain anything. I just think that. Now, she looks different than the chick that I thought that was supposed to be another team, but she still could easily still be on that other team, the one that we haven't seen anything of yet. Because
Well, it could be another
How is
team.
not present? How is not
They're
present at all here?
Yes, sir. But in the opening scene, like they do profiles, like team profiles of most of the other big teams. Like they have stills of it, and then they end with this one. And like in all the other profiles, I'm not saying it has to be that way. All the other profiles, they show the team in general, and in this one, the team in general has got her like overseeing everything. So I wondered if it was a new ally that they haven't introduced yet. That was going to be a big deal ally, like for the team, like a new team member that was going to come in, rather than just a major character.
I mean, I guess it's possible. I mean, like I said, the other team could easily team up with a Yo. We just haven't seen any of them yet.
Yeah, that's possible.
Also, she could just be a dead spirit, considering. Wait, no, she doesn't have a glow. Never mind. I take that back.
She's got more of a fade. None of the spirits there really have much of a glow. Oh, I guess they do have a glow. They don't have more of a glow.
But she doesn't have a glow at all, though. That's the thing about it. Some of the
Yeah,
spirits kind
it's
of glow.
ambiguous though. I think it's ambiguous. I think she could sort of have a glow.
She kind of has a really weird look towards Silva. Maybe she could be one of those observers we haven't seen yet.
Maybe, yeah. but it's a little mystery in the
Never
opening.
mind. Never mind. I don't know who the heck she is. I just remember. I just saw the chick who I was thinking of. I don't know
Okay.
who the heck she is. Um, it's at it's at um negative 2048. There's a team all in orange. That lady that's in the forefront there. I bet that's who you were talking about. I don't even know who the heck that is. Honestly, you know what? I could be considering that we're like in a, I guess a new arc situation. Maybe that could be one of Yo's suitors, but then again, she seems kind of old. She seems kind of older than him, even to this extreme here.
Way
For
older than him.
for that to even for that be a possibility. So I don't know who the heck.
Do you
Actually,
think she could be like Mother Earth or something?
she could be Anna's mother. We don't know anything about her side of the family.
We don't. Could be Anja's mother, but it could also maybe be Mother Earth. Maybe they like get an oversoul from Mother Earth or something like that.
I don't know though. That seems kind of a strange. Granted, I know in anime and just fiction in general, Gaia is seen as a woman, but I thought
Well,
there'd be more green on her.
Hal has been harvesting some really major like spirits, like fire spirits and elementals and things like that. So it would make sense that they got something along those lines. Do you know what I mean? Like a really big oversoul. Because they've been criticizing their quality, their oversouls a lot lately, anyway. So it would be an okay setup for that.
That could be the Great Spirit.
Yeah,
You might have already said that, but if you did, I agree. Kind of agree with that. So maybe that could be the Great Spirit. I mean, no one knows what. I guess I don't know if the Great Spirit's supposed to look like a mass of spirit energy, but if it were to turn into a human being, I mean, a human like visage, that wouldn't be. We don't even see legs on her. She's got a lot of stars though on her. She has a lot of like this is vaguely like Rosalina from Mario Galaxy. Granted, like she looks vastly different to Rosalina, but there's a lot of stars all over her. She's got a lot of star imagery all over her body.
yep.
What's that on her? Is she like what are those gems she's got on her? Jeez, that's really weird. She's probably got something to do with like the that little arc that they're doing right now with Yo in the background. She's probably got something to do with that. If
Yeah,
she had
well,
any, she doesn't
there's
seem
stars,
important
but
enough.
then like there's stars in the background anyway too, so that makes it feel like they're in her domain somehow.
I mean, I guess I just think maybe it should have something to do with that little arc that they're doing that is involving Yo and how he met Anna, or how Yo met Anna. It's possible
Possibly.
because then she doesn't feel like she fits anywhere else. She looked like she could be a threat if she were to be an enemy.
But she doesn't look very enemy-like.
That doesn't mean anything.
It
I
sort of
see
does.
I see enough anime to know that doesn't mean anything.
It sort of does within like I mean implied in the picture it does. Like she seems nice and they're all
That seems nice to you. She seems overbearing to me. She seems cocky. I don't exactly. I've always been wrong with some of those characters. But, like I mean, I'd be happy if she was an ally. But like her hand reached out like that, it seems like I'm gonna crush whoever is beneath me. That's what that looks like to me.
Are you afraid of powerful women?
No,
Why are you afraid of powerful women?
I think the phrase you look at as powerful women.
I'm sorry that you fear powerful women. They're not here to hurt you.
She just seems arrogant here. Like it doesn't. It just doesn't feel me with like
You're,
positivity. Granted,
you're probably the type of person that hated Captain Marvel because she was a girl.
no, I love that movie.
You hate
Actually, I
Captain
want that. I want that. I want the actress to actually be Samus Aran if there's ever going to be a Metroid movie.
Marvel. Actually, would be awesome.
She's actually stated interest in doing that.
I forgot that you had a thing for blonde woman.
This is not going
Metroid.
all back to Stardew Valley. We're going to move on. Actually, speaking of imagery, question for you, since you seem to be so interested in that particular image. There's an image with a guy that I can't even tell who it is. His back is to his back is to us, but he's got this giant sword, and I don't know how he's holding it. Oh, I can see that he's got like a pole staff thing. What? So it looks like he's got an oversoul sword thing, and he got a giant cat in front of him. I didn't even see all that until just now. Is that the cat's original? Is that an Asakura? Okay, never mind. That actually might be an Asakura. I guess other things too. You ever notice all these robot attachments that's happening here? It seems very mechanical. Oh, he's got his oversoul on him.
Hi, Jeremy.
What?
I said hi.
Okay, I'm noticing all these things now. I got that I had questions about, and
Where is this still that you're looking at?
hold up. Let's see if I can't find the. Uh, 307. So I can see now it's an oversoul, but it's an oversoul with giant sword.
Oh yeah, you're right. That's just the cat in the background.
The cat is not in the background. He's in the foreground. Wait, whatever.
He's in the background.
I feel like that might be an Asakura. That might have answered all my questions right there. I didn't even consider that to be an Asakura. I think that answers my question right there.
Sorry.
Let's move on here. All these guys seem to be like they all seem to got a power up in the intro, and I don't know what that. And then all these people, all these patch tribe members. That's an interesting little image they got going on there at 326, where you see them all uh in a circle. I also like to point out too, doesn't Silva look evil to you in this intro for whatever reason? Like there's something else going on there that I don't understand.
Yeah. He's taking it very seriously at the very least.
Maybe that's what it is. I don't know. It seems so odd to me.
It depends on who he's looking at, though. He might not look real friendly if the person that is facing the camera is um not his friend. you know.
But then we got here. But then this is also the I don't understand. At 3:30, there's this image of Yo looking up what looks to be at Silva as he's looking down like Silva's ascended to some kind of type of godhood. I understand that he's got some of Hal's blood in him, but I'm just kind of curious. Like some of the past time members have been shown to have some loyalty to Hal. It just seems kind of. Actually interested in like what's going on there. I'm actually very concerned. Looking at all this seems kind of odd to me. Granted, I don't know what all this truly means, if it means anything.
Yeah, this circle script still is just there's way too much here I don't know anything about at this point in the anime to be able to talk to it. I don't even know what the like there's a woman with a giant snake wrapped around her. I don't know why some of these people seem to be using tech.
But that's just normal for the patch track, because apparently the patch have made technology, quote unquote. This is normal.
Including lightsabers.
Pretty sure it's possible. I mean, they literally made a watch that can tell your spirit level.
Yeah, that's fair. But there's like a couple things that what I'm calling a lightsaber is probably an oversoul, like turned into a weapon anyway. But
We used to call it a lightsaber. I don't think it'd be incorrect.
well, it could turn out to be very heavy, or it could turn out to be light. I don't know what type of saber it is. Maybe it's a heavy saber.
I just find it kind of weird I mean, especially before this point, how dark Silva has kind of gotten. Well, not dark, more serious, and it's kind of been concerning me. I don't know where because back before when he was helpful, he seemed to be so lighthearted and so cheerful, you know. But now he seemed to kind of like gotten serious and kind of dark.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know. I feel like there's a weird transition. Also, when we find out that he's also related to Hal by blood, it gets me concerned. It's like, is Silva gonna turn on us? What's happening here?
There's a lot at stake in this Shaman King battle. I don't know if this is like I don't know if typical Shaman King duels are this have the life hanging in the balance as much as this one does.
Well, maybe not. We can't really talk much about it. I just thought I'd bring it up since you brought up the other image.
Hmm.
You brought it to my attention, so I just wanted to bring it up again. We start the episode off, and it's episode 29, Emeth, and we see that all the three girls that are on Hal's team are now attacking Anna. I like to point out too that apparently her soul, her spirit is Jack the Ripper instead of a Halloween pumpkin thing with two sides. I find it kind of funny.
Why do you see that as funny?
I mean, most people refer to Jack the Ripper on Halloween anyway, and it seems kind of funny to me that he's got a pumpkin head now.
Hmm.
Though I don't know. I looked this up before years ago about Jack the Ripper, but all the accounts that I found of him said he didn't exist, or if he did, no one really found him.
Really? I thought Jack the Ripper was a real historical character. I'm surprised. But now I can't tell you exactly why I think that.
Well, I looked at Jack the Ripper here, and his true identity, according to this, his name is Aaron Komoski. He's a 23-year-old Polishman, a Polish barber.
Okay.
Um, it's a DNA apparently suggested that's who he was, but based on what I can see, I mean, it said they never caught him, so no one knows if he really existed or not. I guess that's why I'm saying that.
Right.
I don't know if they
Well,
ever caught him. He's
if
dead now, but still, I mean, well, he should be dead, but
sounds like good old Father Time caught up with him at least, huh?
yeah, I mean, they said he suddenly stopped killing. I just I thought it was kind of interesting to use Jack the Ripper here. I mean, granted, they've used a lot of they use Faust, for crying out loud.
They use a little bit of everything. Isn't
Who's the
that what
little
those?
girl? Who's the little girl spirit? Who's the one inside the doll? Or did she name him?
Yeah, I have most of the names in the notes. Western Gunman doll.
Hmm, that was an actual name.
That's what she called it.
I guess she didn't really seem all that deep the way. I mean, she was apparently just a girl who liked being alone and playing video games, which is I was kind of concerned about that. I was like, oh dear, what are they doing with this one?
The doll lady like reminded me kind of the blood lady from the blood girl from My Hero Academia. What's her name? The little blonde blood girl that like steals your blood and is kind of crazy.
Himiko Toga?
Is it Toka? Yeah. I got the same vibe from the two of them.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Himiko seems a little bit crazier. Also, we also learn, I guess, the other girl with the night spirit. We found out, I guess, what her medium was, and it was smoke. I thought it was actually really clever,
It was super clever. It's a nice way to make her look like kind of a villain too, because she's always smoking.
and actually kind of gives her a reason to smoke. So it isn't just a part of her
That's
design.
the only good reason I've ever heard to smoke.
Dang it, dang it, Jock.
Just saying.
Well, they're all dealing with their Anna's two friends, June and Tomo, are dealing with the three girls from Hao's team, while Anna goes off to get her future husband. Which that comes back later on in the same episode, which I find I guess like okay, they're gonna deal with that now. Didn't think they were gonna need to deal with that, but I'm guessing that's something story relevant.
Hmm.
But I guess we're here. They're all gonna I guess take these girls down, but we all learned that they Tomo and June are no match for them, which is kind of sad. I was actually kind of rooting for them.
Yeah, I was rooting for them too. It's interesting how powerful Anna's being set up as being though, like totally, at least
But
on a power level, totally worthy of Yo. You know, it's also interesting how they set up these two episodes. This one and the next one are really good companion episodes to review anyway, because the this episode you really get the merits of Anna, like and how powerful she is and how she's really worth her salt. You can kind of like dismiss the idea that she's just going to be one of those throwaway female characters in the anime, like how wives in anime are usually nowhere near as like are strong for a girl, but like nowhere near as a contender for males, like Chi Chi, for example. Um, but in this, like and still the males are scared of them from a social level. But in this, you can actually see Anna's like a very powerful person in her own right, And then you see in the next episode the setup of she's kind of disgusted with Yo. You know what I mean? When he goes to see his new wife. And he's like, I can't believe it's this moron, you know? And then you kind of like, it's going to be, it sets up a really interesting little story between this one and the next one to wonder how she got from the loyalty and dedication that she's got in this episode, like 100% committed to him, you know, to coming from the very, very different and weaker standpoint that, you know, not weaker, but just very contrary standpoint that she had in the other episode.
Well, I mean, I
So,
guess on the point of her ability, her furry, I guess her spiritual power being set up. I mean, she's the only one. I guess she's the only apprentice that she was ever trained that actually had spiritual energy. Based on what the way they made it sound, most of the time they don't have any spiritual power when they take in these orphan girls. Which I guess another thing too is like bring that up. I think Anna is also been confirmed to be an orphan. 'Cause
mm-hmm.
they only ever take in orphan girls anyway when they're training them for that thing. Makes it easier for people not to miss them. But for Anna, for whatever reason, I guess had spiritual power they weren't expecting her to have. Which I guess it makes sense why she was able to she was able to bind Hal's spirits. It also explains why Hal has interest in her because I guess he can see how powerful she is.
Yeah.
So his passive interest in her is also very good too, and I guess it also explains why she could slap him and get away with it. Take us back to
She's
episode. Hmm?
definitely bold.
Yeah. Let's see. Back to your notes here. Tell my interference or Cupid oversaw. Yeah, it was really weird. It was like Cupid oversaw. Well, a gun, spirit gun. Well, only
Mm-hmm.
if you only watched Yu Yu Hakusho, you would have put in a Yu Yu Hakusho reference. Dang it, that was a missed opportunity. Um, I guess we get back to. I guess we can talk about the little kids around the MF doll. We actually learn. Well, not the MF doll, but the MF Golem thing. We get to learn a little bit about this, and I'm not sure if you even brought this up the last time we were reviewing this episode, but
Mm-hmm.
you kind of hit. I don't know how you did this. I mean, it was accidental, but at the same time, you hit this one on the head. Um, for guys people don't know, Jacque brought up. Well, he's an English major, so he does a lot of research on his own anyway, and he knows a lot more about certain stories that kind of come up in history. He somehow pulled this story out of thin air, mind you. Well, not thin air, but like he found this somehow deep and buried in the internet. There was a very specific Jewish story involving a golem with the name Emeth. I think I'm gonna let you take over from here because I think you know a little more about this anyway, and you could probably
Why are
retell the
you
story.
ambushing me? Why are you ambushing me?
Well, I'm ambushing you. You're the one that brought it up.
I brought it up 3 weeks ago. I don't remember. I already told you. I don't remember a ton about what I looked up. You take it.
I just thought it was weird considering that it looks like also I guess speaking of power scaling, the kid's father has also kind of been brought up to be well Anna says this like he was a genius. It seems like a big deal in this world to be able to make a golem. Like it seems like a really big deal to make one.
It's definitely a lost technology of some sort, and they mention that often that it's like a lost art. I got the impression that like it's all the golems that you get. You know what I mean? That like if you have a golem, that's great, but there's not. You get the lost technology, and the remnants are just the leftover golems, but nobody can make them anymore. That's the impression I got from it. That like you have a golem, like those are lost technology.
I'm pretty sure Lost in this sense is probably like there are not many people who are able to learn or read whatever manuscript it is that you need to be able to make one. Because how big that thing is, it probably took their father a while, which is probably why he was killed anyway. We also learned that their father was killed. Also, the little boy, who I think his name is Sayram, his sister, apparently went out one day looking for their father and was found emotionless. And apparently, this little kid attributes that to Hal. I don't know where he got to from Hal from there, because I don't think they even mentioned Hal was responsible for that, or did they? Well, I'm watching it right now, but I don't know if they've mentioned that Hal was responsible for their father's death. Also, another thing too is like, where was their mother? Like, did she die giving birth or something?
Didn't they mention that she was gone? They actually did say what happened to the mother. I just can't remember. They don't remember. Oh no, that doesn't say it. They just say they don't vaguely say they don't remember their mom. So if their mother has some additional story to this, like it's not something.
Oh, he doesn't know who killed their father either. Okay, so never mind. He's looking for him. He's looking for the killer. He doesn't know who killed their father. So them being in this fight is kind of ironic. Well, not ironic, kind of like coincidental, because it could have been Hal that killed their father, but no one knows.
Let's just assume it was Hal.
I mean, it's best safe to assume that it was Hal, but I don't. I mean, it could be somebody else entirely at this point.
Have you seen? Speaking of the Golem thing, have you seen the movie Lapita, Castle in the Sky, Miyazaki?
Hal's moving castle?
Nope.
Wait, or you talking about how you talking about like the castle in the sky? No, I haven't. And I'm looking right now to see if I even have the movie, and I can confirm that I do not have the movie over here.
The idea of golems being a lost art is interesting because there's golems in Lapita, Castle in the Sky too that really evoke that to me. That like they were like golems that were just kind of left over from an ancient technology and like nobody even knows what they're made out of. Like they're made out of this stuff and they're like it's not metal and it's more like ceramic, but it's not really ceramic either. And they're just amazed at the material the golems are made out of, and the golems are freaky strong and protectors and things like that. And it's interesting because if you do watch it, you'll be thinking about the golem mythos in general from that too. That like these how it must be seen in the Japanese culture as sort of a lost technology or a lost art or something like that must be possibly a recurrent theme throughout.
Well, I mean, in the episode here, when they're talking about Anna's asking them about their father or like why they're here, they bring up their father was traveling the world trying to end conflict and revive a lost art. So the kids were
Mm-hmm.
definitely aware that their father. And also, I was trying to gauge if they knew that their father was like a shaman or not, but I think they did know. Like the shaman thing wasn't new to them.
Mm-hmm.
Also, for a golem that's made out of ceramic or whatever this thing is made of, it looks very metallic.
Well, yeah, it could. It didn't have to be that specific detail. Didn't have to be one of the big ones, but like I just thought it was interesting that they had this. The idea that they didn't know what it was made out of, and in that series was just like another nod to how little they knew about the lost art. You know, that was more what I was pointing out with that. That they,
Yeah, I know, I know. I'm just saying that. I was just kind of describing what they have here, like what's here in front of me right now.
when we're thinking of shamanism too, like the brother in Full Metal Alchemist might even be considered kind of a golem. You know, like a spirit put into a mechanical body.
I guess I mean, but Edward was more of a free-willed spirit. He was a living person put into there. I mean, it depends what you mean by what in that series, what term golem can mean.
Are you saying he was more of an android?
I don't know what he was.
Would he be an android or a cyborg?
Dang it, Jacque. But
Would he?
also, I guess with like the little kid doesn't know what operates this thing. He brings the fact that he doesn't know how to operate it, but it usually follows them anyway. I'm starting to wonder if maybe somehow his sister's controlling that thing and he just doesn't know it yet. It would make the most sense.
Or is he haunted? Would the armor be considered haunted?
Why are you trying to go back to Fullmetal Alchemist? We're not revealing Fullmetal Alchemist here.
If you think it's haunted, or he's an anim, or he's a cyborg, or an android, please leave it in the comments or tweet us. I'd love to know what you guys think. Especially if you agree with me, make sure you say he was right. Hashtag he was right on Twitter.
Dang it, Chuck.
I'm
I
gonna
guess
find.
like, now we're gonna be going past this like Golem thing because they don't. I mean, I was just more impressed with how much I guess it seemed similar to the thing you brought up, and it was not like you called this like you knew it was happening. It's just like kind of interesting you brought that whole like a myth story up and
Yeah.
how similar it was to like what they are pulling from. You know, like this show is pulling from everything they can. If there's an interesting story to be told, they're going to use whatever they can.
Yeah.
That Golem's going to be important for something because they keep bringing up how powerful it's supposed to be.
It's either going to be that or they're setting it up to get destroyed.
It's probably going to get destroyed, but I mean, they bring up the fact that this Golem could do something more that they weren't aware of. So I feel like Hal was not that concerned with it. Because I mean, he was that concerned with it, he would have went after his own. He would have went after himself. Uh, Dang it! Why did I see down here Pyro uses Ultra Instinct? Well, he had to slip in another anime reference in here somewhere. Let's see if he can go 2 for 2. Did he slip another one in that same sentence? No, he did not. I'm disappointed. Um,
He's exactly using Ultra Instinct, Master Roshi style,
why, Jacque? Why?
in the Tournament of Power. Pyron is the new. Can we just admit that Pyron is Master Roshi? He's an old man who everybody thinks he's a pervert. He gets in awkward situations with girls that are way too young for him,
He can't
and
be that old, because I think he about to be in his 40s or something like that.
he's too old for the little 14-year-old or 12 or whatever 8-year-old girls that he's hanging out with in that scene. And he is someone that's being constantly accused of being a pervy old man that's far too old for the rest of the gang, and is extremely experienced and seemingly wise, and uses his ability to predict the movements of other people to beat an otherwise stronger opponent.
You
They
can.
wanted
I'll agree that you agree with that, and I'm gonna move on.
they wanted to throw you off the scent, so they were like, well, we can't call him Roshi. What can we call him? And they're like, well, we're not original enough to think of our own name, so let's just make it sound like PyCon. So they called him Pyron.
He's completely just ruined everything. I don't know what else I could talk about with this episode. I mean, Yo's father definitely, like, for whatever reason, is constantly in movement and cannot be destroyed or beaten, which is crazy. Thought the man would not put on a full suit of clothing, which is also even more weird.
A little Roshi like,
Roshi's always wearing clothes, though. What are you talking about?
except when he's pooping on Bulma. Oh no, that was right. Bulma was pooping on him.
But the rating just kind of went up. Thank you for that.
I'm talking about in Dragon Ball. Remember that when he goes to spy on her with the shrinking gun or whatever, the shrinking device.
That must have been clear because I don't remember that at all.
Oh, it's really disturbing. There's so much in the Dragon Ball series that has no business being in children's like TV.
I mean, that's debatable. I mean, like that. What kids can watch in Japanese culture is much different than what it can watch over here in the West.
Well, what about like when he offers to give Bulma something? I think it was a Dragon Ball. If he can see her panties, so she lifts up her panties, but she didn't realize that she wasn't wearing them because Goku took them off in the night to see if she had balls and where her balls were, and then didn't put them back on. So she ends up showing a 14-year-old girl shows an old man her vagina and her ball.
Well, the rating just went up again. Thank you, Jacque.
I'm trying to tell you that there's definitely, even in Japan, that's got to be questionable for something that you would show a kid.
I'm also pretty sure that the little kid doesn't know what's actually happening there. They're probably wondering what's happening there. I'm pretty sure that's one of those things like as inappropriate as it. Let me say what I say. As inappropriate as it is, there's been a lot of stuff, and even in American TV, that they slide in adult jokes.
Okay. I think you just don't like to admit when you're wrong.
Have you watched? Have you not watched Rugrats? In that show, there's the grandfather is watching porn. There are various scenes in that American animated TV show Nickelodeon where he's alone You don't see the TV. You don't even see him, but you hear something going on in the background. He's in the room by himself. And
Didn't
they even verbally name the name of the porn video he's watching too. I forgot the name of it. It involved something with an alien. They literally put stuff in there because like they can get away with it because little kids don't know what's happening.
okay. I think that it's a little more overt with Bulma because when she lifts up her skirt, you can see her butt.
Again, I think it's just something dealing with humor. As inappropriate as you see it, as most people probably see it, that's probably something to do with humor.
Okay.
I don't think anybody really took it that seriously. No one was over there jacking out the Bulma with her skirt up. Well, I hope they weren't. Moving
You know
on.
somebody was.
Hmm?
You know somebody was.
I hope not. But speaking of that, I guess before we move on from this episode, uh, there's just I don't understand. I mean, I guess I understand with the raccoon dog and his balls hanging out, but they Tomo one of our attacks involves expanding ball sacks.
Yes.
Um, I was really disturbed at this because I didn't expect that to be an attack at
Oh,
all.
really? You didn't see that coming at all.
No.
You
Well,
didn't see how them fighting with something disgusting and sexual as part of their trope.
part of me was expecting it. The other part was hoping that they weren't going to do it. I know I should have known better, but I was trying to hope.
Their whole thing is that they have giant penises. That's all they are. They're nothing without without penis jokes.
And then they lose the balls. Oh, that's painful to watch.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that's painful to watch. Oh, that doesn't get any better. That's I'm gonna move on from that. Not much here other than like Yo's father like wiping the floor with these girls apparently.
Yeah.
It was kind of cool to watch. I mean, apparently however powerful he truly is, we'll probably won't see until he's in a fight with Hao, whenever that is. 'Cause even like Hao's like flunky say that he's too strong for you to deal with, which is also very shocking too. It's like okay, he can see how powerful he is then, because that really makes like him being Yo's father. I guess we can move on to episode 30, which is Shocker, because it's nothing to do with the tournament. Actually, if anything, in present time, we go back in time to when Yo and Anna first met, and we get a little bit of a peek into Yo's pre-Shaman King anime personality. Uh, shoot, stop full screening. I find it, I guess, intriguing that we find out that I guess Yo would like to have friends and live a normal life, but because he doesn't like lying to people, he ends up just flat out telling them he can see spirits, like he can see dead people.
They don't even know they're dead.
He knows they're dead. They're spirits.
Walking around like normal people.
Yes, he knows that they're spirits. He knows he's been a shaman. He's been a shaman for his entire life. He knows exactly that they're dead spirits. I mean, dead people walking around.
I was quoting the same thing that you were quoting when you said I see dead people. That's the next part. I see dead people all the time walking around like normal people. They don't even know they're dead.
You'd be very helpful. You just warn me you're gonna do that kind of thing, so I don't end up making a fool of myself.
You're like, no, what are you talking about?
I guess before we get to like the flashback, we come back to the deal that Yo made with Jean the Maiden. Uh, First we see Yo like throw away his like I guess shaman oracle so that way he can't be a part of the tournament anymore. It seems very odd to me. We go from this entire scene from them promising to uh bring Ren back at the cost of Yo's participation. Like everybody seems to be okay with Yo making this decision. Apparently Anna also has a bad feeling in her stomach. I guess it shows like how in sync she is with Yo all the time. I still find it very questionable about like Yo's decision here. I don't know what this is leading to.
What's questionable about it?
It just seems so. I didn't see any of this coming. Like at this point in the series, I don't know what's happening next, and I'm happy about it. But at the same time, it just I don't get the point of it. You think Yo would still try to fight Hao, stop him from being Shaman King, regardless of how powerful Hao is, but maybe it's that impossible.
Well, Yo doesn't think that he has a chance right now anyway.
Yeah, but like I thought, if he becomes the Shaman King, the world's over.
And Yo also doesn't really let things stick to him, right? He doesn't worry about things or
Yeah,
let
I
things.
get that, but I'm just sitting there trying to think. It's like, but they bring this whole deal that if Hao becomes Shaman King, the world is ended.
And he thinks that Ren is going to get a big power boost when he comes back. That might give him a better chance. And he knows that his team would lose respect for him if he let his ambition to become Shaman King lead to the death of a teammate, which they admit afterwards.
No, I get all that. That's all understandable, but I don't know where this is gonna go because they made it seem the tournament's over, but like How's supposed to be the progenitor of the end. So either and Yo knows more than well, clearly he knows more than what's clearly happening now, but they made such a big deal about Hao becoming the Shaman King and this is the end of the world. So either Hao is not going to be end of the world, or two, it's going to take more than just him becoming Shaman King to end the world. It's probably the more realistic thing. Maybe he's got to do more before he ends the world. Maybe Yo can still stop it. But I don't know. It just seems so. I don't know where. I'm very confused. I don't know what's happening next. They're stopping everything. Episode 30 to do a backstory on how Yo and Anna met. I honestly really could care less.
Mm-hmm.
I think they're a cute couple and everything like that, but I didn't need unless now maybe this is going to give us more info into Yo's personality because we do learn a little bit more about him here as a little kid when he's 10 years old. We
I think it's giving us all sorts of background. We're learning not just about Yo, but we're also learning about what made him who he is. We're learning about his family. We're learning a lot of the lore of like backstory of what's going on, not just for him, but also for his grandfather and his father and like the power of his family in general and why this family's so respected, which bears on Hao because he's also technically from that family. Um, you're learning about like a lot of different things about the roots of their power, the roots of their respect as a family, and things like that. I think it's fine.
I'm sorry. I'm just more interested in this tournament because the name of the freaking show is Shaman King. I thought the entire show was going to be revolve around this fight. But clearly not. I'm just trying to figure out like what's the plan here because they made it seem like I'm still stuck on this whole. They made it seem so important that nobody let Hao become Shaman King.
Mm-hmm.
They made it seem so important. I'm just trying to figure out like, okay, what's the end goal here? Is Hao actually not going to bring the end of the world? Is that what's really happening here? Is Hao
I don't
really not?
think
Hao's not the end of the world?
I don't think Yo is really out of the tournament.
I mean, he put down the Oracle, Shaman Oracle. He made a deal that that's not being a tournament.
I understand that, but I don't think he's really out of it. I think there's going to be a plot twist or something like that where they decide they need him, or he proves himself in some way and they ask him to take it back. I seriously doubt he's out of the tournament. It doesn't even make sense. I think what they're doing is making a statement about him and who he is that will build him as a character because he put his money where his mouth was, but then they're going to give him the opportunity to take it back and he's going to take it.
I hope so. I'm just saying for me, the way that little cutscene, not cutscene, that way that little scene played out before we go back in time, they made it seem like the tournament had already ended. At least that's the way I was taking it. Like they made it seem like after he did that, some time had passed and the tournament had ended.
It's possible.
And I say like none of it made it seem like Yo was back in the tournament either. So I don't know. Like I said before, they made it so important that How did not become the king. So maybe he did win, but he didn't become the king yet. I'm guessing. I have no idea. I'm just saying, like, I mean, like, what was the point of, I guess, the tournament if Hao was just gonna win in the first place? They should have just tried attacking him before he got to the tournament palace.
Hmm.
If near-death experiences make you more powerful, I mean, constantly attacking Hao and nearly dying should actually help out. I guess in the concept of if it gets these Tanuki and the Fox's entire being based on their balls. I hate that in the past they weren't wearing diapers, so that was character growth, I guess, in the oddest sense. That cat guy, I remember seeing him at the end of one of the end scenes. I was so confused, like, is he important for anything? And I found out he's important here.
Cat guy.
Yeah, you see him. I think in the same in the episode that how and Rin dies in the ending song that plays, like you see him on the train with Yo there, and I didn't know what he was about. You find out here that apparently he's a very ancient spirit, like at least 1,000 centuries old. No, 1,000 years old. Never mind. I said it here.
Yeah, 10 centuries. The exact wording from this 10 centuries, where the Panchi and Kanchi were 400 years.
It's crazy that he's that old, but I guess he's just been wandering about.
Does that imply that they get more powerful with time? Is that the idea?
Yep. The longer that they've been dead, the more powerful they are.
Gotcha. Interesting.
That's what they made such a big deal about, like when Amidamaru keeps ascending. Amidamaru's been dead for I forgot for how long, but for whatever reason, the wording made it seem like Amidamaru didn't ascend in his ability to become stronger because he didn't have a shaman. He didn't have a shaman with him. But since Yo's been with him for a while now, Amidamaru's powers have actually risen. That's what they made such a big deal about Amidamaru ascending a little bit.
Yeah.
I think the same thing can be said about Basan too. Is that he's been dead for so long. Like Basan should, technically speaking, be of a different level now. I guess at the same time, like Basan should receive a tremendous boost in power too when Rin comes back to life.
And how long has been how has been doing this for 1,000 years too, right?
Yeah, he's been dying and coming back.
He's been dying, coming back for 1,000 years. So, um, by setting up Mantamuna as really powerful because he's 1,000 years old, you're also really making a statement about house spirit. Because that's 1,000 years old too, but it's 1,000 years old.
I think it's a lot. I think that ghost has been. I think that guy, that spirit has been. I think he's been dead or longer. Granted, I don't think that spirit can be considered dead because apparently he's supposed to be part of the Great Spirit. He's just a living portion of the Great Spirit. Is what I think is what he said. The Spirit of Fire is.
Not the Oversoul, Hao himself.
Well, how isn't dead though?
No, but his spirit is old and comes back over and over again for 1,000 years.
Huh? I guess I never thought about that actually. I wonder if but
And then
doesn't Hao need a body though? Whatever. I mean, maybe they'll talk about that more.
the
Maybe that's
time
why they bring
frame
it
is
up here.
identical, which is interesting. That Hao has been doing this for 1,000 years, and uh, Tama, whatever, has been like it's exactly 10 centuries old. I'm sorry, Matamuna is 10 centuries old. So between those two things, it's interesting that they have the exact same age. You know what I mean? Like they're trying to show that something that's 400 years old is nearly as powerful as something that's 1,000 years old, and then in this very similar time frame, like they revealed that the other character is 1,000 years old too, just without directly pointing it out. They're kind of setting up that scale for you, so you see how much power can be gained in 600 years.
That's true. I'm actually kind of curious what happened to. They made it seem like Montemuna's fate was actually really gruesome.
Maybe we'll learn more about it.
Based on what I remember watching, I remember them like saying that I guess something happens to him because we don't see Montemuna in present day. Like I don't know what happened to him.
Well, he was also kind of a wanderer, so he could still be out there. And I don't know if he's incredibly powerful despite what he did there. Like, I don't know if he's like powerful enough where, and also he serves the entire family, so any member of the family could be using him. So, for example, Yo's dad, like, we don't know what, we haven't seen his oversoul at all, have we?
Yo's father's been using two souls actually. I don't know what his oversoul is, but we've seen him already. He's already got two guardian spirits already.
That's right. Well, anyway, it could be any member of the family could be doing that, or he could have been eaten by house spirit at some point. We just don't know.
I wouldn't pick Yo to trade a Mitamara and to use Montemuna to defeat Hao, so maybe that's not the case either.
Hmm.
I mean, he's supposed to be Yo's guardian spirit for the trip all the way up to where he was meeting Anna, so maybe something happens to him there, or maybe that's where he's staying. 'Cause, I mean, they bring it that he was a wanderer, but he's no longer wandering now.
Mm-hmm.
Man, he could have also gotten trapped in that gate to hell thing that they're going to they bring up here. Because he been avoiding it for a while. Then he said, "Well, no better time than now to go up there and visit."
Mm-hmm.
Also, I guess another thing too, guess spirits. They also bring up another aspect of, I guess, spirits that I guess I'm surprised they're bringing up this late. If somebody dies and their spirit gets trapped in the spot long enough, they'll turn into a demon.
Yeah, they do kind of slip that in there, don't they?
Just before that, we also see Tomo when she first shows up at the Asakura's to train. Apparently, she's traveling with Yo's father.
Where
Let's
is
see.
this? I'm sorry.
Oh,
I don't
sorry,
know.
it's 1609, I think.
Can we pull back to Osirizen then?
Who?
Osirizen, the Mountain of Fear.
You have something, I guess, in real life history to talk about there?
Yeah, so it's a real place. It's the name of a Buddhist temple and a folk religion pilgrimage center, a destination, the center of an section of Japan. The it's considered it's like located near an active volcano, and the volcano hasn't erupted in like 10,000 years, but it's still active. Like there's still a lot of fissions and things like that that release volcanic gases out. So it would be an area as described in the anime, like it would have a lot of volcanic gases and mist and things like that there. But it's also believed in Japanese mythology to be one of the gates to the underworld. So for Shaman King, you know what I mean, a gate to the underworld, having that connection to death and things like that are pretty good. Um, Slight side note is that it also was the sulfur deposits there were also exploited to meet the demand for gunpowder production by the Japanese military. So there's like a little history of military stuff going on there as well, related to gunpowder. So the fact that they have like soul guns and things like that are sort of interesting in that respect. But it's just it's sort of a footnote place, you know what I mean? But it's really interesting that you know what I mean. The temple that was there was hundreds of years old. Like it's um, claimed it was founded in 862 AD. So
No,
that's
I get it. I mean, I guess I didn't really want real attention to it because a lot of times anime, like Japan is just like literally Japan is literally like where the characters are being placed. So if anything happens to be, if there's like a real life place in the anime for the most part, it exists in real life because that's what they normally do. Only in various situations will they'll make a futuristic Tokyo where it doesn't really exist. So there's like all kinds of technology around. Here it isn't too uncommon that they're using an actual place in Tokyo. I'm not sure how many places they've been to are actually real, but yeah, that's
but
why I guess that spot itself in general. I was wondering about that when I was watching it. I was like, I didn't look into it because I think in my mind I was like, okay, they usually take real life places and put them in anime. It's not unusual.
but they're it's also considered the location where people known as Itako, Itako, would claim to summon the souls of the dead and deliver messages in their voices. So, I mean, it's really, really cool location, like in Japan, um, to have as a place that, you know what I mean, you'd have as a like Shaman King kind of place. And it's also a hot spring resort for use by pilgrims and tourists, which
What?
is a pointless. It's also like there's a river, there's hot springs there because it's near a mountain, near an active volcano. So it's also pilgrims and tourists can go there and enjoy the hot springs,
One of these days I'll go to an
which is
onsen.
funny, which
Not
would be
this year.
pointless, which would be pointless to bring up except for the fact that like isn't Yo's group called the Hot Springs because they have a hot springs like resort that they bought.
I think they want to make a hot spring. I don't think they bought a place yet. I think.
I thought they ran a hot springs resort, and that's like kind of a running joke in this that Yo's group is like the name of their team is like related to their hot springs resort. Like
I mean,
it's
maybe they do. I don't really know. I saw that, but I wasn't sure if that was either a joke in saying that they own one, or there is a joke that Anna wants to run one and they're gonna make one when he becomes king. I wasn't able to
I think
decipher
there's
that.
mention that they owned one and that they were like sort of advertising it as part of like
I
the
mean, it would
name.
make sense if that was the case. I mean, like if they were wearing it. So I mean, hey, I don't know. I guess I didn't really understand what it was going on there. So I mean, that makes sense actually.
Mhm. Anyway, I just thought that was pretty cool.
Oh, sorry, Nightwalker. I really did not see you there until just now. You sang a lot. I apologize for that if you're still there. Isn't the BBEG his twin? Wait, what? Yeah, SpongeBob was another example of adult jokes. We're not gonna get into that because like that one got watered down real quickly. Actually, real quick, can we look up split-tailed cats? Because that's another thing that's common in Japanese mythology. There's usually foxes with 9 tails, and cats with 2 tails is common. Oh wow, yeah, okay, okay. They're specifically called Nikomata. They're a cat yokai. Um, specifically, I think. What is a yokai specifically? Before I say anything stupid, an apparition. Okay, that would make sense. Oh wow, one of the terms that are there, ghost. You can actually refer to this guy as is a Mononoke.
Oh really?
Like they're not actually demons, but like there's something. They're not normal spirits. I guess is what I'm saying. They're not normal spirits walking around. Which I guess would make sense too, because he isn't like the way he disappears and enters places is not normal like most ghosts that in that show. He also has been around a long while too.
Hmm.
Yeah, I mean he like apparently he can be like Kappa and whatnot. They can be. Yeah, it's a lot. Okay, yeah, I wasn't really aware of that. But yeah, I was looking at this because I wanted to make sure. But cats with 2 tails is I think a common thing in the child mythology. I think cats in general are kind of a common thing anyway. Oh wow, wait, what? See, there's something here. At the same time, in Koken Chomoju of the Kamakura period in the story Kanko Hoenn, I'm butchering everything here. An old cat raised in a villa on a mountain precipice held a secret treasure, a protected sword. in its mouth and ran away.
You're
That's
looking up Tamaki right now?
I'm looking at Nikomata.
Nikomata. That's interesting.
Let's see here. They say that this, I guess it's a story where there's like a cat was raised in the village and it took a sword and the sword was in his mouth when it ran away. It's kind of interesting that we got this cat in Shaman King who has a pipe in his mouth, but he can use it to cut like a sword. I think there's actually a spot when he uses an oversoul, which by the way he has his own oversoul too.
Interesting.
So there's more to this cat than they're letting us know right now. Jesus. Let's see here. One of these they also bring up the fact Nikomata consider themselves in the mountains. Their descriptions of pet cats that grow old, transform, and eat and abduct people.
Interesting.
Kind of funny that he's actually kind of taking Yo out someplace else. Okay. I didn't. I didn't mean to. The first episode of season one weren't Yo and How twin. Yeah, Yo and How are twins. Sorry, we have a chatter in the chat right now.
I was so lost by looking up the meaning of the name Tamaki that I missed a little bit of it. Sorry.
That's no problem. I was trying to make sure. I wasn't sure he was still there or not. I was answering his questions while he's actually actively asking.
Yes.
Let's see here. I'm just trying to look up any more. Oh, and the mata refers to them having two tails. Yeah, so like I mean, this cat. I guess this cat might like not just be a random character that he made. He might actually have a purpose, which wouldn't be out of the ordinary. But now I actually kind of got my interest looking at this. But I guess go back to the episode itself. Let's see what he's been doing for the last 1,000 years old and what he's been up to now. Yeah, actually, Yo's kind of monologuing his brain trying to figure out what this cat's been doing for a while. Because I mean, he was gone for a while. I mean, you brought that he was a wandering spirit anyway. But it's kind of cool that he was wandering for a while and it suddenly appeared again after a while. Huh? Was that a Russian doll thing with like they had the little doll inside of it that you take out? Yeah, that looks like that could have been that. Hello?
I'm here.
Oh, sorry.
I thought you were talking to the chatter still.
No. I was talking to you there.
I don't know what the Russian doll thing you're talking about is.
Inside the I guess Yo's grandmother's house, there's like a little doll next to a candle or something like that.
Okay.
It looked like Red Riding Hood or something like that. Hold up, let me see if I can find the exact I guess time stamp.
Usually, is there other Russian mythology there? Because usually the mythology sticks to a theme.
I know it's like at 1536.
1636 or 15?
15. Yeah, the rushing nesting doll. I don't know if that's what that is. It probably isn't.
What makes me think it's not is that I don't see a lot of other Russian mythology here. It looks exactly like one though. Is there any other Russian symbolism there? Because they, like I said, they tend to follow themes, so there'd have to be other Russian symbolism there too, and I just don't see it. But it looks exactly like a nesting doll.
I mean, Japan made a habit of giving gifts to other countries back when they were trying to like.
But there's a Japanese doll that it looks a lot like too.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I'll show you a link. I'll show you a picture of one. Hang on. Or I'll actually just send you a link to the article, and you'll be able to see a little information about it too. Maybe you could throw it in your stream if you feel like it. But it doesn't look unlike those dolls too, and it's possible to theorize that like a version of one of those dolls in the middle would could look like that too. So maybe it just happens to look like a Russian one,
Dansk.
also like the other.
Oh, that's exactly what I was looking at.
Do you see what I mean? It looks a lot like that kind of thing, like a simplified version of that.
Isn't it
So,
toys, collectors, dolls, Nihon Nino? Made for lifelong partners to their owners, keeping them safe from harm.
and some of them even have a little simpler look like that from the ones I'm looking at. I just typed Japanese doll in Google image search.
Offering a constant connection to the spiritual realm. So its
Oh
presence,
well, then yeah. If it's
its presence
connection to
there
the
isn't unnatural. Then
connection to the spiritual realm, kind of cinches it. Like if it has like symbology that's related to the spirit realm, then it's got to be that.
huh? And they want to go a step further. They could have. That doll could also have a spirit of somebody. Who knows?
Mm.
Apparently, its connections, like so, whoever that doll is I think it's important to her. Oh shoot! I guess while I'm at it, since I since I was looking at it, just gonna give you the link in the chat so you can have a look at that stuff if you want. Okay. You go from that scene to we see Tomo who's meeting Yo's grandmother for the very first time. I also find it interesting too. I didn't really bring this up, but like Yo's grandfather and grandmother are living like half a continent or something. Well, not continent, but like they're living pretty far away from each other. I don't know if that's important for anything.
I'm not sure. It seems like they get along wonderfully.
Yeah, it seems. I don't know like why they. Well, I mean, she's running a business and he's running a business, so I guess they can't be in the same house at the same time all the time.
The marriage that strays together stays together, you know?
Dang it, Jacque. Um, we go from Yo's father bringing Tomo up to the inn to train her for the We go from them to Yo inside of a restaurant eating noodles. And he's talking with the cat again. I'm actually kind of curious if people are seeing that cat or Yo's looking like he's talking to himself.
Either way, they're not going to bother him. That's just a good thing to stay away from all around, you know?
You're not wrong. Bro. Sir, who are you talking to?
I
Oh,
know,
it's my
yeah, I
friend, the
don't want
cat.
to. You do you, man. I'm going to stay away from you.
Oh, he even has a tiny sword too, so it kind of makes sense that what I read kind of makes sense too. It's like an image, like it's like I think it's at like a little like maybe 17 something, but you can see a cat. Man got a fedora. This cat's got a fedora.
Oh my goodness.
But yeah, he's not. I guess he's a very unusual spirit because he just disappears very uniquely versus to anybody else. Because Minamaru will just like fade in the distance. Nigamata like turns into like a yellow tornado and disappears.
Yeah.
And as Yo is trying to catch him, he ends up meeting Anna, and Anna calls him a idiot, like Jacque says earlier. She has
It's
absolutely no interest in him right now, which is interesting.
it's just he got hit, and I felt like she walks up to him and goes, "You're blocking traffic. Die." Slaps him in the face, and I just found that moment so relatable to like my relationship history.
Uh,
It just hit home. Like he got hit, and it hit home for me.
okay. I mean, I'm going to get. I don't get. I can't. I don't.
Yo's Yo's my guy. Yo's my guy. Like he's part of my life now. I live here now.
How much is the rent?
Uh, I don't know, but it's where I live now. I forever. Me and Yo are forever bonded by the moment when he met his wife.
I guess we move on from that point. Nigamata just we 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 see Nigamata show up at Yo's grandmother's house, apparently being really friendly with his grandmother, so they know each other. from some time ago. I don't know what their history is.
Hmm.
Did you say he's 1,000 years old or thousands of years old? Hold up.
10 centuries.
Happens to a ghost after 1,000 years old. Okay, 1,000 years. Jeez. Apparently, yeah, this is after Yo gets born. I'm guessing. Well, no, yeah, this is way after Yo because Yo's get. Apparently, Yo's mother is having something going on with her. And apparently, I guess that's what the cat came up here for. I guess is to purify. Yeah, this is where they made something. They made whatever happens to him seem serious. Well, I don't know what's going on here. It seems like whatever he's going to do here, something serious is going to happen to him. Also, this guy's eyes turned from black to yellow so quickly in this show. It's like very odd. They show you his eyes all the dang time.
Uh, Matamunis?
Yeah,
I didn't even notice that detail. That's a cool detail.
like anytime he got serious, his eyes go from black to yellow. I mean, you go see like it's almost like how cats' eyes like their eyes get closer, like their corneas start like shrinking, but like the top portion like it's like a slit,
Hmm.
like they're focusing, I guess, to see something further away. Now, yo, say like, all girls like that. Like, now I can relate to that.
Are yellow eyes serious? What about earlier when he has to prove himself? Remember that scene? Does his eyes go yellow there? Because I'm watching it right now. I'm curious for the. Remember they challenge him and he goes, "I guess I got to prove myself then." I'm checking there to see if they turn yellow there. If yellow means that he's getting more serious or not.
I mean, I'll wait for you because I don't really know. I thought honestly they were always turning yellow when he was getting serious, but maybe not. I don't know. It just seems really odd that he would have his eyes changing color in various scenes.
It would seem less odd though if he did it as a sign that he was getting serious about stuff. Let me see. I'll let you know when it comes up. I'm watching it now.
Guess we're waiting for that confirmation. The episode's coming to an end here, and then Yo gets attacked by a blue fish man. This is notable because Yo doesn't know what the heck this is. He thought it was a spirit, but he finds out it's not. This is that Yo can actually summon sprites too, but he doesn't do that much later on in his life. So he obviously he probably doesn't like the sprite tax anymore. That is a very like that that, that demon thing is very. It's a unique design of anything I've ever seen in this dang show.
Yes. Sorry, he when he opens his eyes in that moment, he gets serious. He says, "It's, I guess every once in a while you gotta bare your fangs," and he opens his eyes and they're yellow. So his eyes aren't changing over the course of the episode so much as he's getting serious and it's being reflected in the way he's animated. Because he has
That's good.
a little brief moment at 8:27 in the episode where he opens his eyes right before he beats up Hanchi and Kanchi, and they turn yellow as he looks over at them, and then the next scene is like they're decimated. Sorry to interrupt you.
No, it's no problem. Because we're coming to end of the episode anyway. Yo is running away. Yo is running away from a demon, and Nikomata comes out and saves him and stabs the this demon with the Ultra Senju Riketsu. Actually, that's more interesting too. That book they keep bringing up that Hao has. Well, that Hao doesn't have anymore. I think it's named after that thing. I also find it interesting that I thought only humans or shamans could have oversouls, but they make a specific note to know that to say that Nikomata he has his own oversoul. I don't know what that's supposed to mean, but they make it really seem like, I guess based on how powerful a spirit is, maybe a spirit can have his own oversoul.
Yeah.
But it was a very weird, and also they had the episode end off with the name of it. I'm guessing that must mean goodbye, like Ora Sorazan Le Vale. I'm not sure what that even. Wait, I thought they had translation here. Never mind.
What is it?
No, I thought they had a translation. I said, never mind.
Oh, I remembered it not seeming very important, so I left it.
It's no problem. I mean, it'll probably come in this episode. I mean, I guess that's the end of that episode. We'll be talking about part 2 next week. Wait,
The next two parts,
yeah.
31 and 32.
Just want to make sure that next week is, yeah, never mind. We were far off from the 27th. Just trying
Yeah,
to make sure.
sorry about that one.
No, no problem at all. But I guess we'll end that off here. We had a good conversation. I guess we'll learn a bit more about like the passive aggressive love that apparently Anna has towards her husband.
Passive aggressive, not aggressive aggressive.
I mean, I try to make her seem a little bit less mean. Though
Well,
I guess
first
you can't really do that when she keeps telling Yo to die. But
she goes, "You're blocking the street. Die." I'm sorry. You're blocking traffic. Die. I feel like that's a fairly savage way to open up. Hello, husband. Future husband, oh mine.
she doesn't seem all that happy about being set up to have a an arranged marriage. Do
Do you want to hear a joke?
I have a choice
Why did Yo cross the road?
to die?
To block traffic and die.
Apparently, you got somebody in the chat agreeing with you, like pretty standard in his shrugs. I hope you know you're done. I hope you're happy with what you did.
I've broken the anime.
I guess with that, we're gonna come back next week for the next 2 episodes of the Shaman King. I hope you guys enjoyed this, and look out for this podcast to get released on YouTube and on the RSS stream. You know where you get your normal podcast. I'd like to thank Jacque. Look at Chi Chi. We're gonna move on. See you guys later.